Welcome back to the Manifest You podcast. I'm Shannon, and this is where we talk about all things vision boards and manifestation, because vision boards are not just a January activity. They go on all year long. And right now, it's Spring Equinox season, right? It's nature's new year. Everything is blooming. It's fresh. The equinox came last week. Here we are, and 6 days later. This is when a lot of people may start to think about fresh beginnings. Also, just because of how our society does frame resolutions and, refreshing. A lot of times we think about that stuff in January and around the new year. And then by this time of year, we are looking back like, wait, why haven't I done the things? Or my resolution went by the wayside, or all of that stuff. And you start thinking about it again. For those of us who are like me, I don't celebrate the new year in January. I do celebrate the new year in spring with the spring equinox with nature. So maybe you're thinking about making your vision board right now. And I want to push back a little bit on vision boards and when we should do them. The spring equinox has beautiful energy, but there's beautiful energy in the fall when we're harvesting. There's energy all year round, and your vision board isn't a once a year activity. It goes with you. It moves with you. You are not somebody who only has a desire at certain times of year, okay? Desires come all the time. I told y'all I had one in February, got clarity by March, had it 8 days later. Like that just happened. And that wasn't something I was thinking about around the new year. It just came up. Something else just came up to me a few days ago. I'm working on the clarity for that right now. But that's what I mean when I say vision boards are not time-bound. But I know that spring is a very big time when we want to sit down and look at it. We feel energized because just like nature's waking up, so are we guys. We are part of nature. We are not separate from that. And in the winter, we feel slower and we feel less motivated and we're a little bit colder and we have a little bit less energy. We don't get as much vitamin D and all of that good stuff because of the season. And so now you may be feeling that energy. But before we dive in, I really want to talk about what's important, and that's the work. Because it really doesn't matter when you make a vision board, whether that's around the January New Year, spring's New Year, or like we do around here in Manifest She, year-round when desires hit. That's step one. And when I say work, because then there's the work, right? That's step one. Then you do the work. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to do the work. I'm freaking tired. I don't want anything else to do. As a matter of fact, on my vision board, I have lots of less things to do because I don't want more. I don't want to add to my never-ending list, but I don't want you to think of this work as heavy or exhausting because it's not. And so between what you put on your board and when it comes to pass, right, the difference between making your vision board and actually living it is work. There's some work there. I say it all the time. I'm going to tell you, your vision board is not a cardboard wishing well. It's not. It's not something that is passive. There's something that we need to do. But it surely is not about grinding or doing more or forcing things to happen or exhausting ourselves to get the thing. There's this beautiful place of not forcing and not being passive. And that's the empowering place. Because you can create your life, you can know where you're going without having to hope that the universe drops something in your lap if you're just good enough or think well enough or have the right vibe. Or once again, just exhaust yourself even more than you're already exhausted. And that's what we work on here. We work on that beautiful middle where there is ease, but there's work. Because a lot of times we think with vision boards, and it's not your fault. It's not my fault. I used to think the same thing until it's like, hello, Shannon, you know better. That you think if I put it on there, maybe stare at it a little bit, it's going to happen. And just looking at it isn't the work. So when I tell you, okay, let's do some work with this, I'm not telling you to stare at it. I mean, you can look at it. Absolutely. You don't just set it and forget it. But it's the process of embodiment. You've done the clarity. You got the clarity. But now you have to do the identity work, the inside work. And that's what happens. That's how you bridge the gap between what you put on your vision board and what you're living. And most of us skip it because we think, okay, the board is the work, and it's not. The work is your beliefs. It's your nervous system. It's your internal story about what's possible for you. It represents a life that's a different version of you, but not a different version that you have to change your complete self. We're multifaceted. I get so sick of that. Like, oh, to have this next whatever you want, you have to completely change. To me, the thought of that is exhausting. Like, I don't want to have to completely become a different person every time I want to evolve and grow in life. And so as well here, we don't do that. We just focus on the belief that allows for us to experience what we want. We don't have to get rid of all the other stuff that we already do want. You don't have to do that. It's just saying, here's the thing that I want. Here's the belief that's blocking it. Here's what I need to believe to experience it. And then you work on that, because that's really what goes on your vision board. And then you build that belief. How you're thinking, how you're feeling, the choices that you're making, your action. And that's not the action of a 5-step plan. That's not, constantly monitoring your thoughts. That's not what it is. I teach exactly how to do this inside of the Vision Lab, and our members go through this whole process. One example of that could be that maybe you do want to work less but make more, and you're trying to believe that that's even possible. And so you're scrolling on some social media app one night and you see that there's a thing that says 7 side hustles that can make you 10K in 30 days. Okay. Thoughts. The thought that comes to mind, that might be the old thought, because you want to work less and make more, right? Maybe you're thinking, maybe this is what I was waiting for. Maybe this is a sign from the universe. But you really don't want to pick up another job. Like, that's not even what you're trying to get. So the thought would be, I don't need that. That doesn't align with me, and you swipe by. Like, the action is just like swiping by and not clicking. Like, do you see how simple that is? And you feel good about it because you're like, no, I'm not falling for the get-rich-quick scheme things. I'm just moving on. That's what I'm talking about when I say embodiment. Embodiment is situational. It's not forced. So all of these let's be delusional for 30 days type things that you see in challenges online, they will give you some wins. And then those wins will fade out. They will go extinct, and you're going to start right back where you started from, because they're not sustainable, because they are forced. We work on our beliefs in a situational way within Manifest She in actual life, right? It's kind of like if you said you were going to go on some kind of wellness retreat for 2 weeks, and like you exercise at a certain time in the morning and afternoon, and people prepare all your food, but then you go back into like the real world and work comes in and you're like, oh my God, that schedule doesn't fit. And then you kind of fall off, right? It's like same idea there. So what we do is, because we're whole as humans, is we approach this as a human being who has things going on. And that's truly how to manifest what you want off that vision board and keep it consistently, because you're changing your thoughts and beliefs in a way that matches life and how life flows. And you're not doing that through force either, because it's just as exhausting to sit there and monitor your thoughts all day long, trying to force yourself to believe, I am rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, as it is to go out there and have 7 side hustles. Y'all are women, you understand what mental labor is and how exhausting a mental load can be. And so if you're constantly monitoring your thoughts or trying to force yourself to do certain things, that's just adding to your mental load, once again, exhaustion. And that's why I teach it a different way, because you deserve to have what you want with ease, and there is a way. And it's by building belief. And we don't build beliefs by just saying the same thing over and over and over again. Thoughts come into play, but so do feelings, and so do actions, but none of that being forced. It can be as simple as scrolling past something that would have dragged you in before, and it reinforces the new belief that you're trying to build. And now you're not hoping, and now you're not waiting for the universe to deliver, and you're also not adding to your plate. You're also not forgetting about what you put on your vision board, whether that was in January or March or February or July, because once again, here we use them consistently as things come. Like, we don't try to map out our whole life. I say this all the time. I know I want to buy a house. I just don't know what that house is. Like, I'm getting more clarity and I'm narrowing it down, but I'm not even going to put that in my vision diary until I have the clarity that I want. I was having a conversation the other day with my son's girlfriend, and we were kind of talking about it. And I was like, wow, I think I have a little bit more clarity than I think I had. So I'm getting there. And once I'm there, then I'll put it in my vision diary. There's no sense in trying to put a house and then trying to force myself into a vision of life because I feel like I can only make my vision diary / board. I use a vision diary. So I can only use my vision diary once a year at the new year, and I have to map out my dream life. And then once I get this life is perfect. That's it. Woo, it's done. First of all, life grows. You grow. The things you want now, you may not want next. I mean, think about it. The type of house you may want when you have kids at home versus when they're all adults and move out may be different. That was a conversation that I was having with my son's girlfriend. Like, I know for myself, we have Thanksgiving is a big deal at my house. I love cooking, food for my family on that day. And then we have barbecues or we have people up, and I have a lot of kids, and now I have grandkids. And I'm tired of us having to be like some in the dining room and some sitting on the couch because we don't have enough seating. So I know when I get a house, I do want a formal dining room. I know a lot of people are saying that those are outdated. Nobody uses them. They're wasted space. But for my family, it would not be wasted space. I also know that one time I had a huge bathroom with a soaker tub and a whole bunch of extra floor to mop. I don't want that. I love the size of the bathroom I have now. It's just right. It's spacious enough. I don't feel claustrophobic, but I don't feel like I'm just cleaning a whole bunch of tile that doesn't have purpose. So you see, you kind of go through and you find that clarity and then you put it on there and then you work with it. And so another way to live what's on your vision board faster is to not feel like you have to have it all figured out. Just touch on what you know you want at the moment. And that works. What I want you to take from this is that your vision board can be made year-round. If you're feeling a little bit more energetic around it right now, it's because it's spring and the world is waking up and we're all like, woohoo, more sunshine. It's not getting dark early. Like, that's just natural in nature. But add to it when you want. Don't set it and forget it. But also don't just put stuff on there that you know you can accomplish with a 5-step plan or stuff that you put on there that you just have to force and you have to make yourself tired. Do it with ease and find that beautiful middle where you're building the belief to allow you to experience what you want in this life, and then add to it year round. It's more exhausting trying to take a vision board and have every category of your life on there figured out. That's mentally exhausting to figure out in the first place. And then secondly, trying to work on all of those things at the same time. I work on things 2-3 things at a time, maybe, just whenever they come. I work on it. Like I said, one thing came to pass in like 8 days. I wasn't in a hurry to go put something else in there. It's just when something else came to me, I was like, oh, okay, in an organic way. And so that takes out a lot of the exhaustion when you talk about the work. But the work itself isn't exhausting. It's building a belief through your thoughts, emotions, and actions in situational experiences so that they stick, so that they become what you believe, because what you believe is what you experience. And I go through this in detail with members inside of the Vision Lab. So not only do you learn exactly how it works and exactly how to use your mindset to create your reality, what you experience on a day-to-day basis, but once you understand that and how your brain works and how all of that works scientifically, then there's the application process where I'm there to help you, to coach you on your unique situation, because we're all unique, every single one of us. None of us are the same. And so you have that support through a free community to ask questions, to get guidance, to celebrate your wins along the way, because you do have those wins along the way. You can join the Vision Lab now. It's in the link in the show notes. And so as you're going through spring and as you start to wake up and things are starting to bloom, I want you to remember to keep the pressure off yourself, enjoy the sun, and know that you don't have to figure it all out, but you don't just set it and forget it and wish and hope. You do have the power to create your own life. You don't have to wait for an outside force. but you don't have to exhaust yourself getting there. I'll chat with you next week. If you loved today's episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and share it with your fellow warriors. Let's create a ripple effect of liberation. Until next time, stay fierce, stay fabulous, and as always, live life unapologetically.